I heard my husband cry in the bathroom after we bumped into his ex. We met 2 years ago. 6 months later, he proposed and told me he knew I was the one and didn't want to waste time. I said yes immediately because honestly, I felt the same way. We got married and now I'm 4 months pregnant with our first kid. Last Saturday, we were at Target getting stuff for the nursery when we ran into his ex. They dated for 9 years before she ended things 3 years ago because he wouldn't commit. When we got engaged, he texted her to let her know so she wouldn't hear it from someone else. I remember thinking it was weird, but he explained that their families were close and he didn't want her blindsided at some family thing where both sides would be there. She was there with some guy and a kid who looked maybe 7 or 8. She was also visibly pregnant. My husband spotted her first and I saw his face change. I was ready to just keep walking, but he said we should say hi because it would be more awkward if she saw us trying to avoid her, which honestly made sense in the moment. They talked for maybe 2 minutes. She introduced her boyfriend and the kid. My husband introduced me. The boyfriend looked like he wanted to be literally anywhere else. The kid kept whining about wanting to go to the toy section. It was uncomfortable as hell, but it was brief. When we got home, I started unpacking the car, and that's when I heard it, crying, coming from the bathroom. Not like sniffling, full-on sobbing, the kind where you're trying to muffle it but can't. I stood outside the door not sure what to do because my husband doesn't cry. I've never seen him cry. Not at our wedding, not at sappy movies, nothing. I knocked and asked if he was okay. He said he was fine, just felt sick. His voice sounded completely wrecked. He came out 20 minutes later with red eyes and said he needed to lie down. I wanted to push, but he looked so destroyed I just let him be. The whole week after he was different, distant, barely talking. He'd come home from work and just sit on the couch staring at his phone, not scrolling, just staring. I kept trying to figure out what was wrong and he kept saying work was stressful. But I know my husband, and this wasn't work stress. Thursday night I was lying in bed and he was in the living room again just sitting there in the dark. I got up and asked him straight up if seeing his ex messed him up. He said no, but he wouldn't look at me. I told him I heard him crying and I needed to know what was going on because I was freaking out. Was he having regrets about us? About the baby? He finally looked at me and said it wasn't about regretting us. I asked if I could see his phone. I know that sounds controlling, but I was 4 months pregnant and spiraling. He handed it over without arguing, which somehow made me more nervous. He'd texted her that same Saturday night. The message said, "I'm sorry for what I did. Some things aren't meant to be." I scrolled up and saw he'd sent something similar when we got engaged. That one said, "I owe you an apology. What happened with the job wasn't fate. I'm sorry." I asked him what job. He stared at the floor for a long time. Then he told me everything. Back when they were together, his ex got offered this huge job opportunity in Seattle. Some tech company wanted her for graphic design, which was literally her dream. She'd gone to school for it and was working some dead-end job here making barely anything. This Seattle job was double her salary plus benefits plus relocation money. She was so excited she cried when she got the initial offer email. The problem was they lived here in Ohio and he had a good job here that he didn't want to leave. His whole family was here. He panicked because he knew if she took it, she'd leave and he didn't want to move and he didn't want to lose her. So one night when she was asleep, he went into her laptop. She always left her email logged in. He found the follow-up messages from the company. Stuff about relocation assistance and start date options and next steps. He deleted all of it, every single email. Then he deleted them from trash too. The company sent a final email a week later saying they were moving forward with another candidate since they hadn't heard back. She saw that one. She was devastated. She thought she'd somehow screwed up the interview or said something wrong. She spent weeks trying to figure out what happened. She even emailed them asking for feedback and they said they just needed someone who could start sooner. She stayed in Ohio, stayed with him, but she was different after that. She stopped talking about design work, stopped applying to good jobs. She got depressed and started picking fights with him about their future, about why he wouldn't propose, about feeling stuck. Eventually she left him because she said she couldn't be with someone who didn't want to move forward in life.